Antti Niemi. He was on the losing end of a 35 or 32 save effort in Chicago on Sunday afternoon. Comes back for the Sharks here against the veteran Roberto Luongo, now 35 years of age. He'll turn 36 in April. Traded from Vancouver here to the Panthers at the deadline last season, and now will resume a full season role for the Florida Panthers, who Todd McClellan's teams have had some trouble with. McClellan's only been behind the bench for one Sharks win in 6 prior meetings between these two teams. And there is Gerard Gallant, who spent 3 years behind the bench in Columbus, and he is the new head coach here of the Florida Panthers. They have had 3 coaches since the start of last season. So there's been a bit of a head coaching carousel here in South Florida. But General Manager Dale Tallon is confident that Gerard Gallant will be the keeper to get this Florida team turned around and back into playoff contention. Right now, Florida in 7th place in the Atlantic Division with 12 points, but that's a little bit skewed. They have played the fewest number of games of any team in the NHL. Florida only playing their 13th game all year here this evening. The Sharks have already played 12 road games this year.
By the time these teams meet a week from this Thursday in San Jose, the Sharks will have played more road games than the Panthers will have played games.
Logan Couture for Tommy Wingels, and now up to Patrick Marleau, and off his skate back through for Couture. He centers it, and it's broken up there by rookie Aaron Ekblad wearing number 5. We'll have a chance to talk more about him as we have a stoppage in play here throughout this contest. Ekblad was the number 1 overall draft pick in the NHL this past spring. Couture's line stays the same tonight. There are some other changes, though. We talked about them briefly in our pregame show, the majority of which are coming on defense, not so much personnel-wise, but in the pairings, and we'll get to those when we get an opportunity with this face-off now in the San Jose zone. Bukestad in the circle for Florida as it's played behind the net and picked up now by Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Ahead to Tomas Hertl. Hertl back on the left wing with Joe Thornton and Joe Pavelski, where he enjoyed considerable success playing with those two last year, his rookie season in the NHL, before he suffered that injury on the hit from Dustin Brown of the Kings. Here's Thornton now coming ahead and across his own line to center, lays it off for Hertl. Hertl skates in, the pass is shot, and Pavelski missed the top corner. It was there if he puts it on net, but just missed high as we check our Lexus keys to the game.
First key tonight, be a catalyst. Todd McClellan talked about the first period against Chicago, that nobody on his team was a catalyst, and that's what one of the things he's looking for. And he wants not just a catalyst, but to do it with conviction. The second key is minimize turnovers. The Sharks, way too many turnovers in the first period last game. Sharks have the 3rd most turnovers in the NHL. Florida has the least. Now, they haven't played that many games, but there's a big disparity in that regard. San Jose wants to be a little cleaner when they have puck possession.
We talked about Florida's 5-on-5 defensive play, very good. In fact, they've been good defensively for the most part, except for the last 2 games when they've given up a combined 10 goals. They lost their last contest to Calgary. Despite scoring 4 for only the 2nd time this year, they lost 6-4. Let's look at those Xfinity starting lines for the San Jose Sharks first down. We've already alluded to Tomas Hertl rejoining the Thornton line. The Couture line stays the same with Marleau and Wingels there, and then a change on the 3rd line as Nieto essentially flips with Hertl. He'll skate on the left wing with Shepard and Kennedy. That's been a productive line the last little while, and John Scott gets into the lineup here this evening, and there's the big changes on defense. Vlasic now playing with Burns. Braun is paired with the rookie Mueller, and it is Matt Irwin playing with Jason Demers. Scott Hannon has the night off. Ty McGinn has the night off as well. And Mike Brown on the trip, but not available due to injury as he continues to come back from an upper body ailment. And you look at the Florida lineup as well. They're battling injuries of their own. Some key people out for them. Brandon Puri, Dmitry Kulikov, Dave Bolin, the big free agent signing in the offseason, Sean Bergenheim, all out of Florida's lineup due to a variety of injuries here tonight.
John Scott back in the lineup. He's missed the last 6, 2 of them because of the suspension. You go back to the defense pairings changing up. Vlasic and Braun together were combined plus 18 coming into tonight's game. All the other defensemen are minus 17. That's a huge disparity, especially considering Vlasic Braun are typically playing against the other team's top line. So something had to happen, and it did. The coaching staff broke up those two.
Derek McKenzie for the Panthers. He's chased up the boards by Justin Braun, gets it down, and now Thomas Fleischmann. He ties up with Desjardins, and the puck played in front to John Scott. Barclay Goodrow also out of the lineup here this evening in Florida. Sharks will have a day of rest tomorrow and then play Tampa. And we'll have another back-to-back on this trip, but it'll be the final 2 games at Columbus, or rather at Carolina, and Columbus will be the back-to-backs. Last game will be in Buffalo, so it's an arduous trip. 11 days for 7 games played. This is the 3rd of the trip thus far.
Talked to a lot of guys today, though. They had a great day yesterday. It was just relaxing here in Florida. They didn't have to go to the rink. There was no video or anything, so they're ready to go. No excuses tonight.
Recharge the batteries.
They recharge the batteries physically and mentally.
A turnover. It comes back to the line. And now Willie Mitchell takes a shot that's blocked by Wingels. He's got a chance to break away. Wingels down the right side. One man back, leans in to get a shot away. And Ekblad was able to block any attempt Wingels made there. Couldn't get the pass across either. As the Panthers come back in, Tomasz Kopecki drops it back. A shot. That's Olsen, and it deflects up out of play.
Tommy Wingels, Mr. Consistent this year. And he pays the price, and we're going to see Sharks in the defensive zone. A D-to-D pass. Wingels comes out. He's in the shooting lane all the way. He blocks the shot, and it looks like we might get a 2-on-1, but a good switch by the 2 Florida defense, taking away any chance that Marleau joins Wingel on a 2-on-1. So a good defensive play by both teams in that situation.
Wingels with a block there. He is the hits and shots leader on the team. 16 hits for Wingels in his last 3 games. Dylan Olsen across to his defense partner. That's Eric Goodbranson, number 44 for Florida. Now Hertl catching it in the neutral zone. He'll get across center, send it in. Thornton giving chase against Goodbranson. And it's cleared back around to center ice. Matt Irwin to Pavelski. And now Thornton takes it up the boards. Back in front, he wanted Pavelski. Goodbranson blocked it. Loose puck in front, and Luongo able to get a pad on it as the diving Tomas Hertl tried to get the Sharks on the board. Nick Bjugstad, and he lost it just as it seemed he was about to pull the trigger. Now a turnover on Matt Nieto. He'll split through the defense. Couldn't get those legs pumping quite fast enough to get a break as Jonathan Huberdeau's pass is denied by Tyler Kennedy.
Now smooth skating Brian Campbell. Sharks fans remember him. He had a brief stint in San Jose. Did a good job of getting back on Nieto.
Now the Panthers again. Jimmy Hayes' shot kicked out by Niemi. Kennedy tried to knock it down with his glove and apparently did make contact because as it's touched by Nieto, they call the hand pass.
No, I thought the 2 Joes last game were the Sharks' best forwards. Joe Thornton in particular. Look at that job. Little kicks the puck up with his back skate. Almost hits Pavelski in front of the net on that neutral zone regroup. And there's Thornton.
Got the after effects of that stick in the eye.
Yeah. 2 cuts. He's got the black eye going. That led to a Sharks power play. Their 2nd goal of the game. Got them within 1 of Chicago. I thought he played a tremendous game last game against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Sharks just didn't start that game well. They were not fired up and ready to go on that 2nd game of back-to-backs. It cost them dearly. They gave up that 3-0 lead.
Best anthem in sports. Chicago Blackhawks won the Cup 2 years ago, conference finals last year. You're in Chicago the only time this year. How can you not be fired up for that?
Luongo, and he'll wheel it back behind his net. Hayes touch passes it up for Jokinen in the neutral zone. Braun sweeps it ahead. Vincent Trocheck there, number 21 for Florida. But the Panthers will change up. And Mirko Mueller now at center. It's batted in on the backhand by Andrew Desjardins. Demers closing in on Fleischmann, who gets it ahead, but right to Adam Burish. He'll leave it on the near boards for Desjardins. That's a tweener, both Irwin and Burish in the area. Neither could catch it off the boards. Demers And now John Scott wants Burish at the line. Off a Panthers stick and slapped in by Demers. Here's a chance for the Sharks. Scott's pass, and Burish missed the net. Nice little backhand feed by John Scott. Sharks will get a change here as it's fired back in by Demers. Sharks record 8-6-2. They have 18 points in the Pacific Division. Right now in 5th spot in the division. Florida 4-4-4. They have 12 points. They're 7th in the Atlantic.
After this game, they play at home on Friday against the Islanders, and then their next 3 games are out against the California teams.
In fact, when the Sharks come home from this road trip, the first game back at SAP Center will be against these Florida Panthers on November 20th. This is going to be icing against the Sharks. 13 and a half left here in the first period.
Big John Scott back in the lineup. Nice little dish pass to Adam Burish. Not sure if Burish was ready for that. And that's a tough one from a right-handed shot over. He was way over to the left side of the net. Tried to backhand it.
Scott's first appearance in a while. He has not played in the Sharks' prior 6 games. 2 of those were due to that suspension he incurred after the game in Anaheim, where he was suspended for leaving the bench on a legal line change, but with the intent to enter into an altercation. Pavelski, Vlasic, and off Thornton's stick and back to the Florida defense. Brad Boyes, number 24.
Yeah, he's leading the team in points with 6. 2 goals, 4 assists. As far as the league goes, he's tied for 213th. That shows you the problems this Florida team has had scoring this year.
Nice defensive play by the Sharks to sort things out as Nick Bjugstad was threatening. Now up to center, but no further, and Jonathan Huberdeau sends it in. Bjugstad with the hit on Mueller. Pavelski to Nieto. That one hit the linesman and it drops for Brian Campbell. To this side, gunned in by Colby Roback. And that took a dangerous bounce in front of Niemi. Nieto. He looks for Kennedy, who can't reach it. On the re-entry, Jussi Jokinen finished last year with Pittsburgh, signed as a free agent, caught by Niemi, and gives us a chance to step aside. Scoreless in Florida. Roberto Luongo now in his 15th season in the National Hockey League, his 2nd tour of duty with the Florida Panthers, originally drafted in the first round of the Islanders, but traded here. Spent 5 seasons with Florida about 10 years ago, and then went at the deadline, as we mentioned earlier, from Vancouver back here to his old home. And
it's got to be nice.
A lot of ties here.
Yeah, nice for him not being in that media frenzy. His career against the San Jose Sharks, for anyone wondering, 11-12-4 is his record with a 2.68 goals against average and 917 save percentage. Sharks hoping that record goes to 11-13-4 tonight.
They had a goaltending merry-go-round here in Florida last year. They had Tim Thomas, they had Scott Clemenson, they had Jakob Markstrom, who they ended up trading to Vancouver in the Luongo deal. It just did not work out, and you've got to think with Luongo now firmly in place as number 1 and Al Montoya, the former Winnipeg Jet, as the backup, things will be a lot more settled between the pipes for Florida. But while they have been a good defensive team, with the exception of the last 2 games so far this year, scoring continues to be an issue. They've only scored more than 2 goals twice, and on one of those occasions, their last game, they scored 4 and lost.
So he went from the circus, the media circus in Vancouver, to the merry-go-round here.
Yes.
He just brought it down a notch. He's just a one-trick pony now.
Here's Demers. James Shepard trying to chip it up through the middle. He had Nieto cutting across. Broken up in the neutral zone. As Jimmy Hayes tried to get it back for Florida. Here's Tyler Kennedy, who's seen a lot more of this Florida team in this rink than most of the other Sharks have. Of course, Kennedy playing most of his NHL career in the Eastern Conference. Many a trip down here to South Florida. Vlasic for Burns, who took a shot in the back from Derek McKenzie, number 17. Now Willie Mitchell, who lifted the Stanley Cup for the 2nd time in his career this past spring as a member of the LA Kings. Now Burrish shoots, saved by Luongo, and he covers up the rebound as Desjardins went hard to the net.
Well, good D-zone play by the San Jose Sharks. Started with Burns down in the right corner, and then a good breakout, a couple of good passes through the neutral zone, and the Sharks' fourth line in consecutive shifts gets good scoring chances. There's Burns, look at that indirect pass, and Scott just chips it to Burrish. Burrish goes in, that's the right play, going for the shot. There's the play, there's Burrish, kicks it up. That's a good save by Luongo.
Little chemistry there between John Scott and Adam Burrish so far in this first period.
Sharks have 2 scoring chances, and both of them are the fourth line.
Kopetsky flips it to center, knocked down by Burns. And Florida offside as Alexander Barkov touches the puck. Well, if you're looking to plan the perfect holiday party, why not do it at a Sharks game? Bring a group of 25 or more. You can save up to 25% per ticket and also treat your group to the excitement of live Sharks hockey. For more info, go to sjsharks.com/groups. Randy Hahn and Jamie Baker, glad you're along with us here in Florida. Mirko Mueller with a shot that's blocked, and now the Panthers come ahead 3-on-2. Pass to the left side, Upshaw. And a good defensive play by Braun. But now on the trailer, a shot, and the Emmy got his toe on that as the Panthers get a quality chance from Barkov. And now it's Barkov again, takes it on the back skate from Upshaw, trying to return the favor. Marleau back there defending, and he'll get it ahead to Tommy Wingels.
You know, Barkov, he was high draft pick from 2 years ago, second overall. His season got derailed last year. He got injured at the Olympics over in Sochi.
Now Braun, at least right now out there with Vlasic. But now Braun will go off. They were in the middle of a defense change, so the usual pair was momentarily back together. Thornton to Burns. Vlasic shot, Luongo the save, and the rebound kicks out as the Panthers come through center. Huberdeau has it broken up by Burns. Now swinging at it is Bukestad, trying to keep it alive, unsuccessfully. Brent Burns for the Sharks. Tried to get it deep for Hertl. Fired back out by Florida. Jussi Jokinen chasing down Burns into the corner. This one will pop out to Mitchell. Willie Mitchell back for Jokinen. A pass on the wing, they score! Jimmy Hayes, and it's 1-0 Florida.
Well, before we get to the breakdown in the defensive zone, Burns did a nice job getting the puck through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. Does a little tight turn, and then doesn't get it deep. And there's a 2-on-1 down low. That winger for the San Jose, the weak side winger's got to collapse down low. And he started to, and you could see Nieto just got there a little bit late. But you can't take away a pass to the defenseman if somebody's wide open, far post. And Jimmy Hayes gets his second goal of the season. Last game was his first against Calgary. He was +2. He's got goals in consecutive games. And the Panthers take the lead here, 1-0.
Trocheck and Jokinen getting the assist on Hayes' second at 10:56. So the Panthers with a 1-0 lead as the Sharks now have surrendered the first goal of the game in all 3 games of this road trip.
Now that trend has changed here the last week for the Sharks. They were scoring the first goal in most of the games early in the season.
They ended up winning the game in Dallas, of course, coming back with 4 in the third, but not the case in Chicago. Scott fans on the one-timer.
Well, Todd McLellan, and he talked about it last game. He needs a catalyst with conviction. He talked about that this morning. Can't just say it. You got to go out and do it. And that's what the Sharks need right now. Somebody to get something going for this team. Fourth line's trying.
McKenzie, and it's played from the point around to the far side. Brian Campbell there. That's broken up by Couture. Logan trying to break through the middle. And a man coming off the bench. And it was Barkov able to break it up. Kopetsky leans into a shot blocked by Braun.
Couture had no clue that there was a change and Barkov was going to be jumping over the boards.
Now a centering feed. Barkov hits the crossbar. No, it's in. It went in and out. And Florida leads it 2-0 on a great feed from behind the net to Alexander Barkov.
Barkov in 10 games only has 1 goal. This is a nice play from behind the net. And Barkov's open, and that's Upshall. He had 3 points last game. Niemi's sliding across. I mean, that's why teams, you have a play down behind the net. Just as Upshall starts to go behind the net, Niemi, he's pushing over to the other side. And Mirko Mueller isn't stick on Barkov in that situation, and he needs to read that. Mueller does, the young defenseman. And just like that, it's 2-0 for the Panthers. And innocent looking plays in the defensive zone. Doesn't look like there's any harm or danger. And both have been almost wide open, like we're talking easy goals for Florida.
2 goals in a minute 22, and well, history repeating itself like the first period in Chicago. We'll be back.
And then Upshall just comes back door. A second mistake by San Jose, but Marleau can't lose Upshall in the corner. And because of it, it's 2-0 for the Florida Panthers.
Barkov with his second after Hayes had earlier scored his second. Upshall and Kopecky with the assist on the Barkov goal at 12:18.
Marleau in that situation, stick on stick. You got to play the body. Can't let somebody get behind you. And on his forehand, going behind the net, which puts Niemi, the goaltender, in a vulnerable situation because he's looking over his right shoulder and then looking over his left.
Vlasic fumbles it. Huberdeau with the puck in front, and a man cutting to the net. That was Bjugstad. And right now, the Florida Panthers smell blood, and of course, there's no secrets. They know the Sharks had a rough first period in Chicago where they gave up 3 goals in 2.5 minutes, and right now Florida's trying to put the same hurt on the Sharks again.
Well, you wonder, and you cannot fault Niemi on either of those goals. They were almost, they're not 4x6s, but close, but you wonder if Todd McLellan's thinking of putting Stalock in just to get things going. I'm not sure if he is, because you can't fault Niemi on these.
Shot by Demers, but seen cleanly by Luongo, and no rebound there. So 2 goals in 1:22 on Sunday. Chicago scored 3 goals in 2 minutes and 34 seconds to open up a huge lead.
That is a trend you don't want to see continue. That means somebody on the bench has to step up and say something, get something going. You got to, when you're on the road against teams, and this is a team, Florida's got a lot of pride. They got a lot of young guys. Tough loss last game. They're motivated. Teams like, everybody thinks that Sharks are a benchmark team. You can't give up goals in buckets, especially on the road.
You talked about being a catalyst, and this is kind of one of those times you need it.
We're like, I'm waiting to see. I'm watching the game. I'm like, okay, who's going to be a catalyst?
Nieto on the attack into the Florida zone, but it's poked away, and it was Hayes, the first goal scorer of the game, who cleared that out. Now Shepard over to Irwin. 2-0 Florida. We're live in the first period here on this Tuesday afternoon back in the Bay Area. Of course, Tuesday night here in the Eastern time zone. Good Branson. Now McKenzie up ice. And this is Sean Thornton, the former Boston Bruin. His centering pass stopped by Niemi. The shot comes back through, saved by Niemi. And the rebound controlled by Desjardins. Now Burris trying to set the table for Desjardins. But the Panthers have it again. Thornton, who signed as a free agent. One of the many signings that GM Bill Talon made on July 1st. Mitchell now behind his own net to this side. It's picked up by Fleischmann.
They're adding some veteran presence to their young core that have been drafted over the years. Sean Thornton spent the last 7 years with Boston, won a cup there. Previously played with Anaheim and Chicago.
Willie Mitchell, Jussi Jokinen, Derek McKenzie, kind of getting those supporting pieces. Not Dave Bolin, who's probably the biggest name of those, certainly drew the most in salary, but really none of them top 6 forwards or top 2D. They have enough young players here. They feel they just needed those complementary players to help bring them along, as Luongo will cover that. Just under 5 minutes left in the first period. 2-0 Florida. November 11th of 1997, the NHL's Columbus franchise announced the team's name would be the Blue Jackets in homage to the U.S. Civil War. Many uniforms for the Union Army in the Civil War were made in Columbus, thus the connection to the Blue Jackets name. Appropriately so on this Veterans Day, where earlier this evening they had a ceremonial puck drop here at BB&T Center. That is retired Brigadier General Peter M. Dawkins from West Point, where he won the Heisman Trophy in college football, but also played for the West Point hockey team, served the U.S. Army for 24 years.
Amazing. Two sports, hockey and football. You don't see, I've never heard of that before.
They retired his number at West Point, which is also extremely rare.
So he retired his number and he won the Heisman.
Marleau stands in here. We're in the first period live in Florida, and the Sharks are down by a couple of goals. And Vlasic with a big shot that just went wide. Couture now for Wingels behind the net. He's checked hard by Roback, but comes off the boards with it. Upshaw, though, defending. Now Marleau trying to scoop it to the goal for Wingels. That's broken up. Barkov for Upshaw, and dumped in from center. Kopecky there for Florida. Upshaw sends one wide. Now Barkov on the far side. That's Burns getting in the way. Trying to muscle his way through the check from Kopecky. Does. On to Marc-Edouard Vlasic's stick. Marleau can't catch the pass, and back in it goes from Kopecky as the teams get a line change here. Sharks held to so far just 4 shots in this first period.
Uninspired period by the hockey team. I cannot imagine what the coaching staff is thinking right now after talking about the way they played and came out and started the last game in Chicago.
Into the zone, the pass far side, and just unable to corral it was Huberdeau. They are getting, if not a lot of good chances, Florida, they're getting good looks. And it ricochets around to Braunstick. Now wristed by Thornton to this side in search of Joe Pavelski, who scored both Sharks goals in Chicago on Sunday, both on the delivering end of Joe Thornton's stick. It was the Joe show. Thornton to Pavelski on both San Jose goals, one of them on the power play. Sharks have had that trend going. They've scored a power play goal in 5 straight games. So far, no opportunities here in a penalty-free first period. Well, that's usually, as soon as I say that, there is a penalty.
Exactly, and that's, you want somebody to be a catalyst. I'm not going to keep saying the word, but that's drawing a penalty. Doing something to inspire others on your team, to change the momentum, to get your team into the game.
Irwin. And now that one's off Kennedy, I believe, out of the play area into the Florida bench. Well, this Saturday, the Sharks will be in Columbus. It'll be a Saturday night on ice. Sharks against the Blue Jackets. And each week, you have a chance to win a different Collector's Edition poster. Our pregame live on Saturday at 3:30 in the afternoon. And the puck drop right after 4 o'clock. Sharks and the Blue Jackets for the second time this season.
And final time. Blue Jackets riddled with injuries.
They're getting close to getting Sergei Bobrovsky back, and that'll be a huge difference maker for them. Their record with him and without him drastically different.
Just wonder how, if they put themselves in behind the 8 ball too much.
Chance in front, and Fleischmann couldn't find it. Now the rookie from the point. Ekblad's shot got through, and Niemi with the save. Fleischmann was healthy scratched here against Calgary the other night. Obviously, Gerard Gallant looking for a response from number 14. He has just 1 assist so far this year, Fleischmann, and they're counting on him to be, they hope, a 20-goal guy this year. He needs to get going in a hurry if he's going to reach those kind of numbers.
The one guy who had good numbers was Brandon Peary, but he's got 3 goals, only played 4 games because he's been injured.
Stoppage here with 1:58 to go in the opening period. As we said, this is stop number 3 on this 7-game road trip that continues in Tampa, Columbus, Carolina, and Buffalo. And then after that, the Sharks don't have much in the way of a lengthy road trip beyond a 3-game trip in January until right near the end of the year. They'll have a 7-game trip in March. But other than that, a lot of 1- and 2-game road trips. We'll see if that serves them well in the basically second half of the season.
Well, they'll get a lot more practices in, that's for sure.
Can't hurt.
Talked to Justin Braun about that a few days ago, and he goes, you know, the vets may not need it. He goes, I know I do. And he goes, I assume the rookies on this team do.
Here's Kennedy now, and a nice play by Shepard to knock his man off the puck, Roback. But Barkov gets it back for Florida and chips it behind his own net for Brian Campbell. 2-0. Here's Barkov. Upshaw's shot, and he scoops it wide and high up into the screen to stop play with 1:15 to go.
Well, this Florida Panther team, we don't see them a lot, but they have loaded up here the last few years. That's what happens when you're in the bottom of the standings. But Barkov in 2013, first round, second overall. Last year, of course, Ekblad, first overall. Back in 2010, Bukestad, 19th overall. Gudbranson in 2010, third overall. Huberdeau in 2011, third overall.
Lots of talented young players here in Florida. They're just trying to get the right mix and get themselves into the mix in the Eastern Conference playoffs. And there's that penalty that we've been waiting for. It's going to be Erik Gudbranson going. And the Sharks will be on the man advantage here with just under a minute to go in this first period.
Well, as you already alluded to, the Sharks have scored a power play goal in the last 5 games. They're 5-12. It's Tommy Wingels.
Florida penalty number 44, minor penalty for holding.
Just gave it a little jive, kind of faked to his right, went to his left, and ends up drawing a penalty. And now the Sharks' top power play unit heads out. And this is an opportunity to close the gap with just under a minute left in this game. Starts with the faceoff.
19:05, time of the penalty. Sharks go on a Cache Creek power play where they are third in the NHL at 26.5%. Marleau shot, and that hit a body in front of Luongo. Logan Couture now. He'll take one. That deflected, but Luongo made the stop, and it's slapped clear.
I think Pavelski got his stick on it.
Florida last year were last on the penalty kill and last on the power play. Not good. They've improved slightly at this point in the season, but still so early. 22nd on the penalty kill coming in. Thornton. Marleau in front, has Pavelski. Couture there too. Back to Burns. He'll let it go, and that's blocked. And nicely so by McKenzie, and cleared back down. And the Sharks are going to carry time over on the power play into the start of the second period as Burns crosses center with a pass for Marleau that he kicks, and that'll do it for the opening period here in Florida. At the end of one here in Sunrise, it's the Panthers 2 and the Sharks nothing. Coming up, it's our Ram intermission report. And Jamie and I will be back here. We'll talk with the Sharks' Tommy Wingels. We'll also have a Shark Bite preview. All of that coming up. 2-0. Panthers lead the Sharks as we get ready to drop the puck for the second period. Now, of course, it is Veterans Day. Stop by the Sharks Foundation booth when the Sharks are back home Thursday, November 20th, Saturday, November 22nd. Check out the specially themed Veterans Day camouflage jerseys. There will be a blind bid auction to win the specialty jerseys. For more information, go to sharksfoundation.org.
Those jerseys were cool. Like, I wish they could wear those in a game some night. I thought they were really cool. But
it'd be a great theme on Veterans Day, which this is, to maybe have both teams embrace that. Joe Pavelski coming off a 2-goal game on Saturday night in Chicago. Another look at that effort. Joe Thornton setting both of them up, Jamie.
Well, the first one he tipped a redirect, and the second one comes in, and you watch Joe Pavelski score so many goals within 10 to 15 feet of the blue paint. Just a marvel at how he can get his stick open. He's got a great release, very accurate shot. You know, one of the things he works on all the time is just bouncing around a tennis ball, whether it's off a wall or just up in the air. He's always working on his hand-eye coordination on off days, and it's paid off over time. And we'll see if he can be that guy to get the Sharks back in this. Sharks starting this second period on the power play.
Pavelski, a 41-goal season last year, part of his career year. And well, the big Pavelski now with 7 goals and 15 points on the year, second in scoring. Couture and Marleau share the scoring lead with 16 points each.
In over 40% of the games, a team that was at one point trailing has come back to win the game, and that's what the Sharks have to do here. There's a lot of time. What they have to do now is put that tough, awful first period behind them. Go win this period to go set themselves up to win this hockey game.
And they can start here on this power play. Still plenty of time left on it. Just under a minute. Trouble getting through the neutral zone as Brent Burns gets back. First period goals from Hayes and Barkos has Florida in front. Here is Pavelski, and he shot it wide, and it'll deflect out of play up into the screen. You talked, alluding to it during the highlights, Jamie, of Florida and their first period. Coming into tonight, in their first 12 games combined, they had scored only 4 goals in the first period. So for them to get 2 in tonight's first period is huge.
And it's weird. San Jose has been so good in the first period. The second best goals for goals differential next to Pittsburgh. So it's kind of weird to see them struggling out of the gate here the last 2-3 games. It's something they haven't done almost the entire season up until this point.
Couture now. 20 to go on the power play as Thornton gives it back for Pavelski. He can't pick it up. It's Ekblad playing on the penalty kill here against the Sharks' top power play. A lot of confidence in the young man. Shot at the side. Thornton just mishandled it as it deflected on that pass, really, from Couture.
Well, that was the right play from Couture. San Jose set up the umbrella, but Thornton was open down to the left of Luongo.
Mitchell knocking Kennedy off the puck as we're back at full strength now. Justin Braun a shot. Luongo with the save. James Shepherd. Then the shot by Braun, and Luongo out to the front of the goal crease makes the save.
Oh, we see Braun shaking his head there. There's Joe Thornton, who had a good look. San Jose there, you can see in front of the net. Thornton and Pavelski, and Thornton just fanned on it. I think he picked up the pass late. Kind of see him push the defenseman just a little bit. Puck comes, and what a nice little reverse behind the back pass from Nieto to Braun, and Luongo out square to the shooter right away. No rebound. A real nice save there from Roberto Luongo.
Justin Braun with a 2-game assist streak going for him right now.
The last 8 games, he's got plus 5 in those games. He's got 4 assists in the last 6 games. Playing really good hockey right now.
2-0 Panthers as Tyler Kennedy picks it up. You see the speed of Matt Nieto as he turned and burst up the middle. He'll get to this first. Leaves it for Kennedy. The pass out front for Shepherd, knocked away by Campbell. And this is Bjugstad. Nice work by Shepherd. Kennedy, however, gives it back to Brad Boyd. Braun has to get back and defend. And Huberdeau lost his balance. Shepherd will play it to Mirko Mueller. The Sharks rookie blue liner gains the zone, sends it in. Angled off by Roback, and it's around to Campbell again. Brian Campbell joining the Sharks at the trade deadline a few years ago, and on the first day of free agency signed what turned out to be a huge contract. He's got 2 more years left on that deal here in Florida.
Part of the 2010 Stanley Cup winning team in Chicago. And Dale Talon, the GM at the time who signed him, ended up trading for him and bringing him here to Florida.
A backhand shot saved by Niemi. And now John Scott will try and get it out of there after Jimmy Hayes went looking for a second goal tonight. Hip check on the far boards by Olsen, slowed down Desjardins. Dylan Olsen, and that's a turnover. Scott front of the net, trying to look to someone to pass it to. No one there as Kopecky will send it into the Shark zone. Thomas Kopecky, 1 against 4, goes across, and that'll be centered. Ekblad trying to get it down the boards, could not, and now he has to turn.
Ekblad's good size, 6'3", 213 pounds.
First overall in the draft. Barrie in the Ontario Hockey League, only 18 years of age, and already making an impression here in Florida. They feel they, without question, have maybe their best draft pick ever in Ekblad. And that's saying something. They've had some good ones here, and you articulated some of those over the past few years.
Well, some young D. I mean, they're building from the back end. That is the plan here in Florida.
And they're missing one of their key people on the blue line, Kulikov, with injury tonight. Kopecky walks in, and the pass shot wide by Barkov.
Barkov would love to have that one. That would have been his second goal of the night. And just, I'm not sure if he healed it, but he got it looked like an empty net.
Stays 2-0. Upshaw now to Fleischmann. On the wing, it's McKenzie, slowed down by Tomas Hertl.
Oh, that was a great stick by Hertl. Defenseman for San Jose fell.
Luongo will just come out of his crease and cover this, as Barkov, as you said, almost had himself a second goal.
Second overall pick back in 2013. And we're going to see. It was a tough play. He had a back check. Joe Thornton was right on him, but if he picks the short side, that thing's in the net. He was trying to box out Thornton. It was interesting that his feet placement there brought his feet together. A lot of times you want to establish body position, get your feet wide in front of the other player so you can put your stick down in front of you.
Sean Thornton up to center. That's flipped in by McKenzie.
You know, some of the subtleties in the NHL of body position, just little things, tricks you learn over the years that you didn't necessarily need to do because you could just overpower people at the junior with either your size, speed, or skill. But you need every little trick in your bag to, you know, if you want to be an elite player in the NHL.
Nieto comes out of the corner with it to the point for Irwin. His wrist shot blocked in front of the Florida net.
A couple of good passes this period by Nieto to the defenseman, setting up some scoring chances.
Now Sean Thornton for Florida. Sent in off the stick of Barkov, or Fleischmann rather. Kennedy looking for help and checked off the puck by Thornton. That was a tough guy for the Boston Bruins to lose, one of their heart and soul players, yeah. Sean Thornton. Bjugstad, and things getting a little tougher for Florida through the neutral zone here as the Sharks have tightened things up a little bit in the second period, but they're down 2-0. And now a bounce for Huberdeau. Huberdeau behind the net, one arms it up the boards. And now Mueller will give it back for Pavelski. And the Sharks try and get something going here, down 2-0. Braun shot save, Hertl on the rebound, placed it across the goal mouth, no one there. And Marc-Edouard Vlasic chases back as both teams change on the fly. Live here in the second period in Sunrise, Florida. We're not too far away from Fort Lauderdale, if you know the Broward County area. It is 2-0 Panthers. We'll be right back.
Today we'd like to honor all the veterans, the ones that have lost their lives and the current ones that protect our country, and a special kudos to the 131st Pararescue Team. This was a few years ago in Afghanistan. Mike Malloy and his boys. Mike used to work with the Sharks. He's friends with some of the guys on the team. That's a Joe Thornton jersey. And we applaud you guys and your team and all the veterans out there.
In Canada and Great Britain, this is Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day.
For those of you wondering about the red poppies that we're wearing tonight, being a couple of good Canadian boys, got to keep that tradition going. Panthers score off a rebound, Derek McKenzie, and it's 3-0.
Well, now we're going to find out a little bit more about this San Jose Sharks team. They trail 3-0 to the Florida Panthers. That's just a shot, a rebound. Nobody picks up a guy in the slot. There's three guys there. Again, I don't think you can really fault Niemi. Maybe the rebound shouldn't have been right out front, but San Jose not winning the battles in the defensive zone. They don't have a whole lot going, and it's gut check time for this hockey team. It's the third consecutive game that they've trailed. They trailed to Dallas 3-1 at one point, 3-0 to Chicago, 3-0 here tonight to the Florida Panthers. And we'll have to see what this team is about. They got 33 minutes to try and show us something.
Ekblad, Niemi the save, and he's able to dive out and try and get hold of it. It's loose again. Willie Mitchell a shot, and that is saved by Niemi. So Derek McKenzie gets his second. Ekblad, the rookie, gets the only assist at 6:37. Here's Fleischmann trying to get it settled. Huberdeau rather, and his shot saved by Antti Niemi, who all of a sudden is seeing a lot of incoming from players wearing red sweaters. 16-8, the shots now for Florida.
And San Jose really, they've had one decent scoring chance this period. That was the Braun chance. Huberdeau, just simple little play in the defensive zone, ended up beating Mirco Mueller. Mirco Mueller, you can say, well, the Sharks are a much younger team this year, but the only rookie in the lineup right now is Mueller on defense. Barclay Goodrow watching. Chris Tierney's down in Worcester.
Tomas Hertl, because of his injury last season, not far off from really still being very rookie-like in his number of games played in the NHL. Nieto now clearing it, but not out. Campbell up the boards. Huberdeau goes across ice. Panthers up 3-0 on home ice here against the Sharks. Remember, in 12 games, this is a Florida team that only scored more than 2 goals twice. So this is the third time they've gone over the 2-goal mark. Trying to break a 3-game losing streak, and they're off to a good start here, as we're 2 minutes away from the halfway point of this game. Huberdeau, and a good diving effort by Burns to get it off his stick. Then he finishes his check down low against Jonathan Huberdeau. They continue to battle. Kennedy on the far side. Huberdeau gets a hit on Kennedy, but the puck's there for Brent Burns. He'll play it across for Nieto.
Well, San Jose in 16 games, they've scored 3 or more goals in 11 of them. Their record 7-2-2 in those games. They have to do that this game.
Well, for the last few minutes, it's been pretty easy for Roberto Luongo. The Sharks have not been able to get into the Florida zone and establish anything really since the beginning of the period when they started on the power play briefly. 8 shots in the game for the Sharks, 3 of them here in the second. Vlasic out for Hertl. That's picked up by Mitchell, his shot block. Thornton flicks it ahead for Pavelski. He'll cross center with Hertl. And the pass broken up by Ekblad. Thornton keeps it in. Now Pavelski against Willie Mitchell. Demers. And Desjardins can't settle it. Now he gets hold of it. Throws it across for Irwin. His shot off the skate. And back to Andrew Desjardins. Irwin again. Burish trying to backhand it in front. No go as he was shut down there by Trocheck. Burish gets a good bounce, scoops it to the goal. Luongo pushes it aside. John Scott now. And a penalty coming up here to Florida. I think it's going to go to the rookie Ekblad. He got his stick up on John Scott, and they're going to get Ekblad for the hook. Meanwhile, across the ice, an altercation.
Well, the fourth line trying to do something out there for the Sharks. They end up drawing a penalty. There's a little pushing and shoving. You don't want to take an extra penalty in this situation. You want to go on the power play. And here's the hook.
I didn't see a hook there.
I didn't see a hook either.
Must have been earlier. But it is Aaron Ekblad who's going to the penalty box for the next 2 minutes.
He was granted exceptional player status by Hockey Canada to be eligible for the 2011 Ontario Hockey League priority selection as a 15-year-old.
And what that means is that in the OHL, you have to be 16 to
be
play.
drafted, right.
But there is a special clause for exceptional players,
right,
of which he was one.
It's called the exceptional player status. He got that. He
Number 5, Florida. 2 minutes. Hooking.
He's actually tied for the point lead with this team coming into tonight with 6 points, 1 goal, 5 assists.
That was referee Frederic Lecuyer. Rob Martel also working this game along with linesman Tim Nowak and Brad Kovacic as Gerard Gallant looks on, and we'll see if the Sharks can get to the Panthers and to Roberto Luongo here on their second power play of the game.
Well, I'm not sure where the ref saw the hook in there, but the San Jose Sharks will take it and see if that can spark them here, get something going, because there hasn't been much going here so far tonight at the BB&T Center in Florida.
By the way, for those of you wondering, what's BB&T? It is a bank here in South Florida. I was wondering, so I asked. I do my banking in the Bay Area. Here's Nieto at center for James Shepard. And Kopecky will intercept that and send it back down.
This is a message to the hockey team right now.
Yep.
Nieto, Kennedy, and Shepard, the Sharks' third line, starting the power play. And Todd McLellan has seen enough, and he's not putting his top guys out there. That's the one thing the coach can do. He can try and motivate guys. This team shouldn't need motivation, especially after a loss in Chicago. But he does control the ice time, and he is doing that right now.
Nieto back for Irwin. Now to Burns. Couture's out there. As Irwin comes across. Out of the corner, he's tripped up, and Jokinen will scoop it the length of the ice. Now McLellan sends out Thornton and Marleau and Pavelski.
Yep, the first unit is now out there.
Good back check there by McKenzie. Got it away from Pavelski to Couture and back in. As Luongo will get hold of it. Try and set it up for Willie Mitchell, who has trouble. Now Thornton. Back to the point. Demers. Couture. Logan shoots. Luongo the save, and no rebound for Pavelski on the doorstep.
Well, the top power play unit for the Sharks. Thornton gets it up to the D, a little D to D. Sharks can see Pavelski going to the front of the net, trying to play bad goalie, and also Tippett. There's Pavelski in front of the net. And that was a good job by Luongo coming out to the blue paint, finding the puck, making the save, and making sure that there was no rebound as Pavelski was right there on his doorstep.
Further to your point of the message sending by McLellan of not starting with his top power play unit, the Sharks' top line of Thornton, Pavelski, and Hertl have a combined one shot in the game tonight, and that was Hertl back in the first period. Thornton wins the draw, but well, Pavelski did keep it in. There's those good hands you talked about and all that practice time. Unfortunately, it is cleared back down by the Panthers. Down to 15 seconds on the San Jose power play. That last shot was their first power play shot tonight. They did not get a shot on their first power play, which spanned the end of the first and the beginning of this second period. Marleau takes it off the boards, wants Thornton on the return. Now he gets it toward him, but off his stick. Penalty's over. Ekblad's out of the box as the puck is rushed up the ice by Bjugstad. He pulls the trigger and fans. Perfect penalty kill for the Panthers so far tonight. They're 2 for 2 and lead at 3-0, and they're offside here.
The Panthers have...
We'll step aside on Comcast Sportsnet, California. On this Veterans Day, we honor Milt Schmidt, Hockey Hall of Famer, whose career began in 1936, but the NHL and especially the Boston Bruins really were decimated by World War II, as the globe was, and Milt Schmidt joined the Royal Canadian Air Force and really missed 4 prime years of his career at battle from 1942 to 1946. A Hart Trophy winner as the scoring champion in 1951.
So he led the league, and look closely right here, folks. Look at those mitts. Look at those gloves. He led the league in scoring with those. They go right up to his elbow. Pure leather. I can only imagine how heavy they were. 52 points in 1939-40.
Went into the Hockey Hall of Fame back in 1961. Was a Stanley Cup champion with the Boston Bruins as a player and later as their general manager. Also was a coach in the NHL. And what a Canadian patriot, as we saw. 7:45 left in the second period here in Sunrise, Florida, where the Panthers are out to a 3-0 lead over the Sharks. Now Sean Thornton, and the shot goes high and wide. Niemi reaching the arm up, but it was off target. Desjardins in the corner against Thornton. Braun helping out. And Desjardins needs some help from Mirko Mueller. They lose the puck, and Niemi with a big save out front as the Sharks nearly faced a 4-0 deficit right there were it not for number 31.
Well, right now, Florida just having their way with the San Jose Sharks. San Jose, right there, you can just see the lack of communication and confusion down low. Running into each other, and Niemi makes a good save. Takes away the bottom part of the net. And San Jose has nothing going right now. Niemi with a good save. Keeping it at 3-0.
John Thornton with a grade A chance there, and a fine glove save by Niemi. Barkov stands in against Pavelski, and Joe Pavelski wins the draw as Marc-Edouard Vlasic sends it up ice for James Shepherd. Mitchell for Florida. Vlasic sends it back in. Kept in by Burns. And now the puck tied up. Visit CSNCalifornia.com to read up on Kevin Kerr's latest articles. On the site today, Tomas Hertl trending upward, and yes, he is. Up from the third line to the first in this game. You can also follow Kevin on Twitter at KKersCSN. Special birthday greetings on this November 11th, celebrating her 18th birthday. Caitlin Stevens, daughter of our outstanding graphics coordinator Darren Stevens, who's on the trip and can't be with his daughter for her birthday. A very special sweet 18, I guess you could say, to Caitlin Stevens. A scramble at the front of the Florida goal mouth now. Luongo surrounded by teammates, and also Tomas Hertl. And I think Hertl is going to get a penalty here. Kopecky saying something to Hertl, and I think that might have been in check.
Yeah, he got Hertl. We'll see. I'm interested to see what the calls are going to be.
San Jose penalty number 48, minor penalty for roughing.
Boy, Hertl.
Kind of was.
He knocks down the Panther Scotty.
Watch Luongo there. Look at Luongo get his stick in. And I don't think there was a penalty, and I don't think the ref saw that. He's just trying to go to the net, Tomas Hertl. Ended up taking a bit of a punch, and the Sharks go on the PK.
13:29, time of the minor penalty to Hertl for roughing, and Florida's power play, which comes into the game ranked 22nd with 6 power play goals, goes to work. Last year they were 30th on the power play at only 10%, so they've improved a little bit up to this point. Olsen. And now Upshaw. Back to Olsen. And across the ice, Fleischmann's one-timer weak and blocked as Bukestad gives it back. And his shot deflects up off Burrish's stick into the glass. Huberdeau trying to keep it alive on the near boards, and does. Back to Dylan Olsen at the point. Up for Upshaw. Now Bukestad again to Huberdeau and Desjardins. A good play to clear it, and the Sharks will get a penalty kill chain.
Yeah, it was a good battle there by Desjardins, and a good clear.
Now Barkov, and that puck just behind him. He couldn't catch it and advance it. He has one of the 3 Florida goals tonight. Brad Boyes, his 21 goals last year led Florida, and he was the only 20-goal scorer they had.
Played 1 game with the San Jose Sharks, Brad Boyes did. Back in the day.
Jokinen, Ekblad, and Campbell. Aaron Ekblad, he's got a big shot from the line. I don't know if we'll see it here. Jokinen, and that was tipped by Boyes just wide of the net.
Like, what did he do wrong in that game that he didn't get another chance? It's like, that's it. He's not our guy. When I was with the Quebec Nordiques one day, they were going to send me down before practice. Then I was told to practice, and they were going to evaluate me during the practice. And actually, one of my teammates, Randy Moeller, does the radio for the Florida Panthers. I must have had a good practice. I stayed up for a couple more weeks.
Hertl's out of the box. The Sharks have their first penalty kill of the game. Still a 3-0 Florida lead. Coming up on 4:10 left in this second period. Chance in front, and Niemi with a diving save.
Oh, that was a great save by Niemi. Nice little tic-tac-toe from Florida. Niemi with a two-pad stack save.
Good Branson wrapped up behind the net by John Scott. They separate.
I think Branson doesn't want anything to do with John Scott.
Meanwhile, play at the other end, and a shot scooped by Marleau, caught by Luongo. And we will step aside. 3:49 left here in the second period in Florida. Time for McDonald's True Stories. And talking Sharks goaltender Alex Stalock and his tremendous shutout streak that began here in Florida last year. Alex broke the franchise record held by Evgeny Nabokov. He went 178 minutes and 55 seconds without allowing a goal. Nabokov set his mark back in 2009. There's Alex, who had 24 saves in a 3-0 win. That was also his first NHL shutout.
Something he'll always remember. There's a great team guy right there. Just a great guy. Love the way that he and Niemi push each other. They challenge each other, but they're also just great friends. Off the ice, they're always together.
Chatting with Alex yesterday, he was speaking to family back in Minnesota where they were dealing with 14 inches of snow. Sharks got out of St. Paul just in time. 3-0 Panthers leading here in the second period. Brad Boyes trying to move it out of there.
San Jose doing anything here to try and get a goal late in the second. And you know what Florida's thinking. They're thinking, just keep it simple and let's get out of this period up 3-0.
Matt Irwin. And he hit the post behind Luongo. It came right back out.
Boy, does that sum up the night right there. You looking for a little puck luck, something to get the tides turned, and not only does it hit the post, but it goes out into the high slot where no San Jose Shark is.
Irwin, and that is steered aside by Ekblad's stick as Willie Mitchell will clear it off the glass, up and out of play.
San Jose sustaining a little bit of pressure here near the end of the second. Couture getting right in front of the net. It's a good screen. There's the shot. Just goes, oh, that's a crossbar and a post. And you can see it bounce past Demers and Pavelski. It actually bounced over Demers' stick. So some good execution by the Sharks. They just didn't get any luck on that situation.
Matt Irwin not in the lineup on Sunday against Chicago, getting a look here today. He has not appeared in 6 of the last 7 Sharks games. Great scoring chance there. Wasn't to be as Brian Campbell sends it back over to this side for Sean Thornton. And we're down to 2.5 minutes. Sharks with 12 combined shots on goal so far in this game. 5 in the first period, 7 so far here in the second. And Hertl has Wingels up ice. He'll send it in. Thornton out there between Wingels and Hertl right now.
This Florida is they're a pretty good defensive team, so I'm not surprised that you're not getting a lot of grade A scoring chances. It was just the mistakes, particularly in the first period, that led to 2 pretty easy goals for a goal-starved team in Florida.
Thornton, far side. That's a hard pass. Tough for Kopecky to pick up. Another new line from Todd McClellan. He's got Kennedy out there with Nieto and Marleau.
And that's something to keep an eye on. It's going to be the forward pairings. Trying to get something going. Todd McClellan is.
Olsen. And Barkov trying to advance it. This is Marleau with a steal at center off Kopecky. Trying to get around Goodbranson. Then the pass by Nieto just out of the reach of Marleau. To the front of the net and punched away to Kopecky. He's going to clear it down. This will be icing here against Florida. And Gerard Gallant may think about his timeout here. There's some guys who are bent over and kind of gassed, including Barkov and Trocheck.
Yeah, it's a good call by you. I'm looking at Gerard Gallant too. I don't know if he's going to call it. Yeah, he does. And it's nice catch there, Randy.
Well, stay up to date and on the go with the official San Jose Sharks app, available for iOS and Android phones and tablets. news, video, stats, schedule, roster, and more. You can also keep up with the Sharks Twitter and Instagram feeds. All of it on the Sharks app, and it's easy to get. Just download it right now. Search San Jose Sharks official mobile app on the App Store or on Google Play.
Well, as you alluded to, that's a good move by Gerard Gallant. Calling timeout. 1 minute and 2 left in the second period. His team's got a 3-0 lead, and he's got some guys tired.
And you point out the time left in the period. The last thing you want to do is put your team in a position where they give up that late goal, and that sometimes is the catalyst that the other side needs to get it turned around.
Well, and we've seen it. We've seen it work for and against the Sharks. I mean, Vancouver did it to the San Jose Sharks a few games ago back at home, and the San Jose Sharks, they've done it too. They've scored some late goals that carry over into the next period. Go back to the game against Dallas.
Shot to the front, and Luongo with a save. That assistant coach we showed you there briefly, John Madden.
John Madden. 3-time Stanley Cup winner, 2 with Jersey, 1 with Chicago.
Hockey's John Madden. Alexander Barkov in the zone alone, blows a tire, but gets it around to Jokinen inside the final minute of the second period. Irwin, and that's too far for John Scott. Back for Ekblad, and Gerard Gallant has to be enjoying watching his team play with a lead. As behind the play, we've got activity going on. Desjardins potentially getting into it there with Willie Mitchell, and then John Scott, who was on the ice, kind of drifted into the area and settled things down.
Willie Mitchell, unrestricted free agent, signed with the Panthers after winning a Stanley Cup.
Here's what happened.
There's the hit. Ooh, that was close to getting hit into the door, and that's what I think Mitchell took exception to. Wearing the captain, and he's brought in here from a leadership standpoint as not so much what he's going to do on the ice. Obviously, they want him to contribute on the ice, but this is how you prepare for against the best players in the world, on and off the ice, your practice habits, and showing a lot of young, promising D.
Nothing like bringing a couple more Stanley Cup rings into your dressing room.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Brian Campbell, of course, has one as well from his days with the Chicago Blackhawks. Mitchell, the 2 with the LA Kings.
Mitchell had a good game. Last game against Calgary, he was +3, 22 minutes of ice time. He leads the team in block shots with 27 coming into tonight. So those little details and habits paying the price.
We mentioned Dave Bollenhurst. Of course, he's a Cup winner as well with the Blackhawks. A shot off the post as this second period comes to an end. Another one toward the net by Couture, and that's going to do it for 40 minutes. The Sharks hit a couple of posts late in the second period, but are in the same predicament, trailing, but now by a third goal. At the end of the second, it is Florida 3, the Sharks nothing. Brody Brazil and Curtis Brown standing by in our Ram Intermission Report studios. They'll look around the NHL on this Tuesday night, and then Jamie Baker and I are back here with second period highlights.
Guess what? People are going to say that was a terrible start. You didn't play well the first 2 periods, and yeah, we get it. But then they have to carry that over to the next game against a very, very good Tampa Bay Lightning team that's playing tonight, that have won 6 in a row, trying to go for their 7th in a row. So it's not like this road gets any easier, but all the Sharks can do right now is focus on the moment.
Lightning, as you mentioned, are playing tonight. They're on the road in Chicago and leading the Blackhawks 1-0 after the first period there. The Islanders all over Colorado tonight, 6-0 in the third period of that one.
Well, 7 of the 11 games in the NHL tonight are East versus West, and we are cheering for the other East teams.
Third period underway here in Sunrise, Florida. The Sharks' one and only visit this season here. And as we mentioned, these teams will meet again when the Sharks come home from this 7-game road trip. First game back on Thursday the 20th against Florida.
Well, keep an eye on the lines here in the third period. You got Shepard right now centering Pavelski and Couture. You got 3 natural centermen on for the first shift here in the third period.
Cleared by Kopecky back through the middle of the ice. And Marc-Edouard Vlasic will let Niemi handle it. Both teams get a change up the ice. We're 45 seconds into the period. Off Nieto's stick and in. After it is Kennedy with Nieto and Marleau. Another new look.
Yep.
And there's a turnover to Marleau, and he fires wide.
So Marleau is center with Nieto on his left and Kennedy on the right.
Icing waved off here. Mirko Mueller, supported by Nieto.
And it looks like Mueller and Burns are back together as a deep pair. So that experiment has ended.
Chance out front, and Niemi, a fine save off Bukestad. And Campbell, excellent skater, against another excellent skater, Nieto there.
It's the second race that they've had this game.
Now the shoot in by Campbell. Jimmy Hayes, who has one of the 3 goals. Back to the line, and another shot off the post by Goodbranson that time. All the goalposts in this game have been at that same net.
At the same net. Thornton's out there now with Hurdle on his left and Tommy Wingels on the right side. So the Rubik's Cube, if you will, of lines have all changed.
Maybe the goalposts are wider at that end.
Thicker. They're much thicker.
Fleischmann for Florida. 2 men back, Braun and Vlasic, as they are reunited. And back to Willie Mitchell. Sharks will leave immediately after this game. Very short trip to Tampa Bay. In fact, they'll certainly get to Tampa Bay before the Lightning will. They're in Chicago.
They get a practice tomorrow.
Thornton behind the Sharks net. Sean Thornton out to the point for Mitchell. He'll flick it toward the goal out of Fleischmann's reach. The reverse. And it's McKenzie.
And Vlasic and Braun are out there together here in the third.
Thornton, and they score! Nice play. Thomas Fleischmann finishes it off. 4-0 Panthers.
Well, he was a healthy scratch last game, Fleischmann, and he's responded in kind here tonight. That's just a turnover. And you can see Fleischmann, we talked about it earlier in the game, how you get your feet wide to box out an opponent and get your stick on the ice. And that's exactly what he does to Adam Burrish in that situation. And he just backhomes that nifty little pass to make it 4-0 Florida here in the third period.
3:01, time of the goal by Fleischmann. So 4 different goal scorers for the Panthers. And for just the 3rd time this season, they've scored 4 goals or more in a game.
This is the first time San Jose's trailed by this number this year.
Another reason for Gerard Gallant to smile. He healthy scratched Fleischmann the other night against Calgary, looking for him to respond, and Fleischmann responds with his first goal of the year. So the coach pushing the right buttons on the Florida side, and the Panthers now with a 4-0 lead on home ice in front of Roberto Luongo, who's working on a shutout. Thornton gets the only assist on Fleischmann's first at 3:01.
That was Sean Thornton, by the way. That was his first point of the season and his first point as a Florida Panther.
Wonder if somewhere around town he gets free stone crab for having his first point as a Panther. Very popular item here in South Florida.
He was popular in Boston too. He's from Oshawa, but he's one of their kind in Boston.
Luongo, and he'll cover that up with Nieto looking for a loose puck, but none available.
Well, Luongo will just he'll take whistles all night long. And Florida, with this type of a lead in the third period, they're just going to simplify their game. They're not going to get caught deep forechecking, that's for sure. I doubt their defense are going to pinch at all. So San Jose is going to be in a position coming through the neutral zone of dumping pucks in, and you're going to have to strap those work boots on down in the offensive zone, and because I don't think you're going to get any odd man rushes.
Braun, and that's just why. Hurdle working out of the corner. Back for Joe Thornton. Justin Braun to Marc-Edouard Vlasic. That's tipped. Luongo able to adjust and get his glove out.
I'm not even sure if he saw that. Maybe it was just a good reactionary save by Luongo.
Roberto Luongo with 66 career shutouts in his now 15-year career in the NHL. With, as you mentioned earlier, the Islanders first who drafted him in the first round. Then they traded him here to Florida. Then to Vancouver. And now back for a second tour here with the Panthers.
Well, that whole goaltending situation in Vancouver was just becoming a distraction. And they traded Schneider before him, which was just an odd move.
Making Luongo captain was an odd move.
Yeah.
And now Desjardins and Mitchell, they had an incident, as you'll recall, late in that second period when Mitchell nearly went through the door onto the Sharks bench. And again, nothing more is going to come of this here. I don't think we'll have penalties.
Well, Mr. Luongo has got a .925 save percentage, and yeah, he didn't. That was a good tip there by Hertl right in front of the net. That was see, Luongo was moving from his right to his left there, and Hertl in perfect position. These teams see each other a week from Thursday in 9 days back in San Jose. That'll be San Jose's first game back home after this 7-game road trip.
Going to do the face-off over again as McKenzie fell on the draw and immediately asked for relief, and the linesman concurred. That'll start a 6-game homestand for the Sharks. They'll host Florida, Arizona, Calgary, Anaheim, Philadelphia, and Boston. That's a great homestand.
There's some great teams coming to SAP Center in San Jose. Like they're moving the clock. Is there a penalty? The referee's over talking to the scorekeeper.
Unless they call some interference on that faceoff.
Burge might be getting a penalty for putting his hand on the puck on the faceoff.
It is going to be that call.
That's the second time this year Burge got called for that. You see the Florida Panthers power play for the second time tonight.
So Burrish illegally gloving the puck, and a power play now for Florida. They're 0 for 1 with just one shot generated.
It's like the Zenon Konopka rule. Took advantage of it. He used to just drop down and scoop it back. The NHL changed the rules a couple summers ago.
I think that's a good rule change too.
Yeah. Well, players take advantage of things and creatively. But the league says, nah, it's not going to let that continue and become a trend.
Here's Jokinen. And fought off by Niemi and then batted clear by Vlasic. Up through center, Barkov touched the puck, but then he was checked by Demers.
Yeah, good gap control in the neutral zone there by Jason Demers. We talked about this at the end of the last game against Chicago, the importance of details and habits. They should be an all-the-time thing, not a some-of-the-time thing.
.53 seconds left in Burrish's penalty for closing his hand on the puck. A slap shot high, and Niemi out to cut off the angle, made the save, and it's cleared down to Luongo.
That was Nick Bjugstad. 6'6", 218 pounds. He's only 22 years old. He led the team in scoring last year with 38 points.
That was the record for the lowest total for a player on an NHL team to lead his team in scoring.
This team was 29th. Florida was 29th last year in goals per game, goals against per game, and as you alluded to, 30th in both power play and penalty killing. One of the reasons they were 29th team in the standings and won the lottery for the first overall.
Trocheck gets over the line, then his pass goes astray out of the corner. Kopecky.
Just our second look at him. He's a good skater.
Burrish out of the box, and the Panthers almost got a 5th goal there, but it was cleared on its way in.
And I think that was Vlasic who saved the day for San Jose.
Hertl with a shot saved by Luongo. And now Demers. Wingles wants Thornton too hard on that pass. And we get an offside against San Jose. A great chance for the Panthers there. And number 44 saves the day. Marc-Edouard Vlasic keeps it 4-0. Tonight's save of the game brought to you by RGP, consulting from the inside out.
He's got a little help from the post tonight, Luongo, but he's been steady. He's been pretty steady all year for this hockey team. There's a good save on Hurdle. There he is, out challenging. No rebound control. Again, no rebound, taking away the bottom part of the net. You know, when he's playing his best hockey, he's out challenging. I thought there were some times he lost his confidence.
There's the teams he's never shut out, including the Sharks and his old team, the Canucks. But he's got 66 shutouts in his career. Odd considering how many games he played against the Sharks as a member of the Canucks. Doesn't have that shutout. He's got one going tonight, but there's still 12 plus minutes to go here in this third period. Panthers up 4-0 on goals by Hayes, Barkov, McKenzie, and Fleischmann. And the Sharks are offside here.
Todd McLellan just rolling the lines right now. Seeing if somebody can get something going. I think that expression says it all right there.
Sharks have only been shut out once this year. And that was at Madison Square Garden when they lost 4-0 to the Rangers. They've thrown shutouts twice the first two games of the year. At LA, 4-0. And then home against Winnipeg, 3-0. Jokinen wanted Trocheck. Mirko Mueller. As Trocheck dropped his stick. Now Couture with some speed through center ice. Against Campbell. Gets the shot to the net. Saved by Luongo. James Shepherd with it. Couture hands it off to Shepherd. Goes back to Logan. And he loses his footing back there. Burns jumps in to help out Couture. We've got a penalty to the Panthers. Or is it a high touch?
I think that's going to be a high touch. I thought it might have been a penalty too.
I think you're right. So the faceoff will be in the Florida zone with 11:28 to go here in period number 3.
Well, there's head coach Gerard Gallant. He was an assistant for the Montreal Canadiens the last 2 years where they compiled a 75-42-13 record. Prior to that, he spent 3 years with St. John Sea Dogs of the Quebec Junior League. And boy, did he have some success there. He was first place all 3 times. He's in the Quebec Major Junior League Championships 3 times. He won it twice in 2011 and 12 and won the Memorial Cup in 2011. A previous head coaching stint with Columbus Blue Jackets. So you look at his NHL and his time in juniors, he's well equipped to come to a team with a lot of young players.
Kennedy. Ekblad trying to get it cleared up and out, and now the Panthers do come ahead with it. Over the San Jose line. They're offside. Brad Boyes has to tag up. By the way, were it not for Brad Boyes coming to the Sharks, and as you mentioned, playing just that one game, and he came over in the Owen Nolan trade along with Alan McCauley in a first-round pick. Were it not for Brad Boyes, the Sharks would have never had Curtis Brown, because Brad Boyes was then traded to Boston in a 3-way deal that saw the Sharks' Jeff Gilson go to Buffalo and Curtis Brown come to the Sharks.
There you go, Brownie.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. The most important one-game player in Sharks history. There's only been a few guys that have played one game, and he's the most important of them.
Boys ended up with no points in that game, 2 penalty minutes, and of course it was deemed that he was a liability. Took too many penalties. He was on pace for 162 minutes.
One game.
Can't have it.
He doesn't fit. He's not buying into the system.
Demers at center, and that's poked away by Thornton from Irwin. Sean Thornton now with Barkov. And the Sharks get hold of it as Desjardins plays it out for Tomas Hertl. Luongo back for Brian Campbell. Back to the point. Burns shot. Luongo. They score! Joe Thornton was there off the shot by Burns, and it's 4-1.
Well, you go to the net, and Brent Burns, who's second in the NHL in points, gets the shot. You can see Thornton, the bottom of the screen, go right to the front of the net. I'm not sure if Thornton actually is going to score this. I think it might have go off. Yeah,
No,
I think
Joe got it.
You did?
I think so.
Okay. Well, he's got the reaction anyway, and the Sharks break the shutout bid for Luongo. Thornton's 5th of the year, and they trail 4-1.
10:35, time of the Shark goal by Thornton. Burns will get the assist. There's his career against Luongo. Most by any player, Joe Thornton's point totals against Roberto Luongo.
Yeah, simple execution in the offensive zone. Just get the puck down low to high, go to the net.
There's Hurdle on a feed from Wingles.
See if San Jose can try and score a bucket of goals right now. Get another one. Put a little pressure on this Florida team.
Well, they need a third period like they had against Dallas.
Right.
That would do it. Four would get them to overtime. Mitchell. And he gets rid of it. This is going to be icing against the Panthers. 8:51 remaining here in the third. It's Thornton from Burns at 10:35. Brent Burns, that's his 16th point, 10th assist of the year. So he is now in the scoring lead with Couture and Marleau, all with 16 points. Vlasic, and that's blocked. Justin Braun trying to backhand it deep, cannot. Shepard trying to scoop it ahead, denied. And Braun back defensively, flicks it up James Shepard's way. Into Couture. Pavelski. And that's denied by Ekblad at the net.
Well, there was a bit of a hold on Shepard's stick. He's looking at the referee, complaining.
Jimmy Hayes, but good body position by Braun, and then they get a shot wide. Pro check with an open side. He had to pull the trigger in a hurry, couldn't find the net.
Oh, he'd love to have that chance again, though. Sharks dodge a bullet right there.
Marleau can't get it in. Good stand-up defense by the Panthers there at their blue line. Under 8 to go in regulation. It's a 4-1 Florida lead. So Roberto Luongo again will not shut out the Sharks. See if they can do some more damage here. Kennedy, that save, rebound, Nieto, Marleau, and neither can put it home.
Well, they're starting to throw some pucks at the net and getting bodies to the front of the net.
Nieto digs it out, sends it across the ice. Roback will bank it around for Campbell. Andrew Desjardins. Now Jason DeBurs jumps in from the right point. Gets it through to the slot, away from Scott and Desjardins, unfortunately. Brad Boyes with a breakaway pass. Here's a chance for Huberdeau, and a save by Niemi.
Good save by Niemi, taking away the bottom part of the net. Huberdeau had no chance to deke in that situation because he had a defenseman right on him.
Brian Campbell plays this one off the boards. John Scott trying to clear it. Now Desjardins will skate it out. Gets to center, trying to drive it deep. Burns will chip it. And it's sent back into the San Jose zone. Brent Burns controlling it for the Sharks, who have played their best hockey here in the third period.
This has definitely been their best period of this game.
A catch and a hold for Roberto Luongo. Joe Thornton spoils the shutout bid and makes it 4-1. The overhead look of Joe Thornton's goal will give it our forward right choice.
There's the shot from Burns. There's the puck going over the back of Luongo. And there's Joe Thornton knocking it in midair and breaking the shutout bid for Roberto Luongo. For Joe Thornton, that's his 5th goal of the year, 10th assist of the year for Brent Burns. He got the only assist on the play.
14 goals by Joe against Roberto Luongo. He also has 14 against Martin Brodeur, who has not officially retired yet, but Brodeur is a free agent, unsigned, and it would appear that his career may be over. You just never quite know until
unceremoniously, though. But what a career he's had. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That much we do know.
Willie Mitchell sends it in. Now Burns for Pavelski. Giving chase is Couture, but doesn't have enough time to win the race. And that'll be icing against San Jose with 5:46 left. A reminder to join us on Thursday from Tampa Bay as this 7-game roadie continues against the Lightning. Pre-game live at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday. Sharks and Lightning at 4:30.
Steven Stamkos and the boys, they've been playing great hockey. Tampa Bay. Currently 23 points. Tied with Anaheim, tops in the NHL.
Niemi with a save, and the puck dropped to Mirko Mueller as McKenzie bidding for a second goal in this game. Florida's goals tonight scored by Hayes, Barkov, McKenzie, and Fleischmann. Thornton for the Sharks. Braun for Logan Couture. A collision in the neutral zone between Shepard and Scotty Upshall. Now Shepard for Couture. Pavelski will chase it down. Back to Shepard. Pavelski, one-timer, tipped by Couture wide. And it's up off Vlasic, out of play, onto the Panther bench. We'll step aside with 5 minutes left here in the third. Our Toyota game summary gets you caught up on all the scoring. Florida got on the board first. Jimmy Hayes making it 1-0 in the first period. Then Alexander Barkov will convert on the pass from Upshall. Nice play there, 2-0. Then it was Derek McKenzie's turn, 3-0. Here in the third, Thomas Fleischmann making it 4-0, and then Thornton converting on the Burns shot. That spoiled the shutout of Roberto Luongo. And that point for Joe Thornton gives him 1,209. He is now tied for 43rd all-time with Shark alumni forward Bernie Nichols. Next up on the list, Bobby Clarke, Hall of Famer, one away. And then look at the names: Jeremy Roenick, Larry Murphy, and on as Joe Thornton climbs up that list.
8 points away from being in the top 40 all-time NHL history in points. That's an amazing statistic right there.
And an icing call here against Florida. We'll bring it all the way back.
Legends, Bobby Clarke. Larry Murphy, 3-time Stanley Cup winner and Hall of Famer.
Joe's 1 assist away from tying, or actually 3 assists away from tying Denny Savard of the Blackhawks for 23rd overall all-time in assists. Joe with 862, Savard 865.
You know, I can't say any of the San Jose Sharks stick out is having a great game here tonight, but just that play by Thornton. I mean, here's the third period. He's still going to the net, trying to make plays, trying to get something to happen.
Look at Niemi's made some big saves again. He's got 26 saves tonight. Kind of tough to hang any of the goals on him.
You know, the one rebound, one maybe, yep. but still, that's a turnover in the defensive zone, and guy in front of him, that wasn't tied up. I wouldn't blame Niemi tonight.
Luongo's going to cover this one as we remind you to stay with us as soon as this one comes to a conclusion for Esurance Sharks postgame live. Brody Brazil, Curtis Brown, and Kevin Kurz. Brett Hedican will also join live from here in Florida. All that coming up here on Comcast Sportsnet California. Esurance Sharks postgame live. 4:16 left in the third. Sharks down by 3. They're being outshot 30-21 by the Panthers. And if this result holds up, it will make for an interesting rematch when the Sharks come back off a long trip to play this team all over again. And the Panthers will have already played LA and Anaheim.
Yeah, they play Islanders on Friday, and then they head out to California.
Mitchell slowed down by John Scott. Burish trying to get a handle on the puck. Big crowd there. And McKenzie will get it back for Florida. Now Scott to Burish. Ekblad. Little backhand play to Thornton. You just forget how poised Ekblad is at 18. Right. As Desjardins came in and tried to make contact with the kid. And now Desjardins trouble as Wingles had a chance. John Thornton was on the ice and didn't like that hit. Desjardins threw at Ekblad and went after him a little bit, but nothing worthy of a penalty. Officials were right on top of it. Play continues as Hurdle gives it to Braun. Braun shot through the crease wide. Here's Burns. Burns will take it behind the net. Skates free from Mitchell. Up to Braun at the point. Back to Burns. Back to Braun, and he can't keep it in.
Getting back to Ekblad, the first pick overall last year. I mean, for a big kid, he's very smooth out there from a skating standpoint, and as you alluded to, very poised. Been impressed with his game tonight. He hasn't tried to do too much out there, just keeping it simple. You know, that's what guys like Willie Mitchell, Brian Campbell, the veterans, that's what they're telling him too.
Irwin knocks it down at the front of the net. Tommy Wingles with 2:22 left. Shepard fanned on that rolling shot. Kept in by Pavelski. He'll get it deep for Shepard out of the corner. Pavelski, a little handcuffed. That pass was just behind him. Huberdeau will toss it deep into San Jose territory as the Florida Panthers appear to be on the verge of a 5th win this year, and they'll snap out of a 3-game losing streak if they prevail here.
Sharks will fall to under 500. If this score holds up, they'll be 8-7-2. There's 2 if you count those as losses, which they are ultimately. They get a point. When's the last time we said that about this team after 17 games?
Kopecky, nowhere to go as Burns hands it off to Patrick Marleau. Marleau against Campbell, who clears it away. And up for Trocheck.
I talked to a bunch of guys this morning. They all felt great. Yesterday, the day off and everything. I have to say, I'm surprised by the way they came out and started this game tonight.
2 goals in the first period for Florida were the ultimate undoing for the Sharks. They came a minute 22 apart. Here's Kennedy. He'll delay, shoot it wide. Under a minute now as Marc-Edouard Vlasic gets one through, but Roberto Luongo with the glove save with 48.7 seconds left to go. Now let's look ahead. Thursday, Sharks in Tampa, 4 p.m. pregame live. Then Saturday, 3:30 pregame from Columbus. Sunday, the 1:30 afternoon game against the Carolina Hurricanes. And then the road trip wraps up in Buffalo on Tuesday, the 18th.
Team will fly home after the game in Buffalo and then have a day off, and then they'll play the Panthers on Thursday and let the home games begin. Only played 5 home games so far.
Eric Goodbranson, that's steered down the ice by Thornton. Niemi will give it to Justin Braun as the Sharks will lick their wounds after this one. Practice tomorrow and, well, regroup against one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, the Tampa Bay Lightning, on Thursday.
Well, if their victory or their lead holds against Chicago, top team in the NHL, they're tied right now.
1-1 in the third.
Okay, so Chicago's come back to tie it. Anaheim and Tampa,
the second rather,
both have 23 points. Vancouver with 22. Pittsburgh, Montreal with 21.
Sharks will be stuck with 18 as they won't get any points out of this one here tonight. And one more whistle here as this one's just about over. 11.3 to go. And don't forget, Esurance Postgame Live coming up with Brody, Curtis, Kevin, and Brett.
I think those dejected faces say it all right there. Searching, trying to figure out what exactly is wrong. So good news is it's a long season. There's a lot of hockey to be played.
Good Branson back for Florida as the fans here begin to cheer. And the Florida Panthers end their 3-game losing streak as they take care of the Sharks. They build up a 4-0 lead. Roberto Luongo didn't get the shutout. He ends up with a 21-save win. And the Sharks' record on the road trip now falls to 1-2 after the first 3 games. Final score from here in Florida: the Panthers 4, the Sharks 1. And Sharks Post-Game Live starts right now.